My paintings are about, often, if not always, about contrast. Contrast of size, shape, color, quality, subject matter. In this particular case, there's number one, the obvious contrast of color, the yellow-green and the rich red. The contrast of shape, these small, somewhat leathery leaves, these large, thin, floppy red leaves. There's another contrast as well that I think people would understand in a visceral way, not necessarily a conscious one. But I can also see this as a tall palm tree, for example. And this with all these striations, and it's almost like an eroded bank of a hillside, or maybe in a further distance, a geological formation of tremendous size. So it can be seen in an unconscious way. I've broken the scale of this. These plants are actually life-size. This is a euphorbia. It grows about this size. And this is a heuchera, a new type, relatively new. It's called coral bells. And depending on how the leaves are on the top, they're this rich red brown. On the bottom, which is flopped over here, it's this cool pink. And as the light is transmitted through the leaf, it's a ruby red. So that's an interesting, very earth-colored, the way I painted this. So that makes reference to geology as well. And here, this is like an eroded hillside it comes through. So these things, in a way, are very ephemeral. In another way, they can refer to something much more fundamental. Now, I like the way these edges here, as the leaves cannot really support themselves, they create all these interesting abstract shapes, this whiplash of the stems, which are kind of viney, kind of soft, and they almost are like drawn lines that are holding down, containing this sort of enthusiasm of life turning around and contrasting with itself. And then in the back, it's this very neutral faded wood wall. So between the transition between this single euphorbia, it's not a collection, it's not an arrangement, it's just a plant that's, in a way, with its compositional vitality, holding back this onrush, this wall of waves of leaves coming towards it. So closely examined plants are always contemplative, but it's a combination of a very contemplative, a visual situation, and a very, but underneath that, great forces that can be potentially unleashed.